They're small, often hidden, and usually slow growing. But when ignored, they can unleash hormones that wreak havoc on your body. Today, we uncover the mystery of carcinoid tumors in the gut, tiny growths that may be far more dangerous than they appear. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever heard of carcinoid tumors? Probably not. That's why we're here to shed some light on these rare neuroendocrine tumors that can sometimes fly under the radar until it's too late. We'll cover what they are, where they grow, how they cause problems, who gets them, what symptoms to watch out for, and how they're treated. By the end of this video, you'll know everything you need to tell your friends and family so that they can also become informed about this disease. So let's start off with the basics. What exactly are carcinoid tumors? Well, think of your digestive system as a long winding tube from your mouth to your anus. Inside this tube is a special kind of cell called a neuroendocrine cell. These little guys do a lot, like producing hormones that help with digestion and other important functions. Sometimes, though, these cells go a little crazy and start dividing uncontrollably, leading to a tumor. And that's where carcinoid tumors come in. These are growths that develop from those misbehaving neuroendocrine cells in the digestive tract. You might be wondering where exactly these tumors pop up. Well, most commonly in the small intestine, but they can also be found in the appendix, rectum, and stomach. Now you're probably thinking, tumors, yuck! What do they do? Some carcinoid tumors, especially the ones in the appendix, are totally harmless, but others can cause all sorts of problems. Well, by releasing too much of certain hormones, especially serotonin. Yeah, that's right, the same serotonin that makes you feel good. But too much of a good thing can be bad. It floods your bloodstream and causes all sorts of chaos. This condition is known as carcinoid syndrome. Imagine your body as a busy city with different neighborhoods or organs all doing their own thing. When you have carcinoid syndrome, it's like there's a big construction zone in your central hormone processing district. The hormone processing equipment starts to break down and send faulty signals throughout the city. Suddenly, your flushing system goes haywire, causing redness in your face or neck. Your digestive system gets confused, giving you sudden, unexplained diarrhea. Even your breathing system feels the effects, leading to shortness of breath, wheezing, or a rapid heartbeat. It's like the hormone traffic cops are on strike and everything. Just backed up and running slowly. This whole situation can get worse over time. For example, years of high serotonin levels can damage the valves in your heart or cause complications in your liver, leading to malnutrition. So yeah, while carcinoid tumors themselves might be small, their hormone havoc can be huge. But here's another reason why these tumors are such troublemakers. They're often really good at hiding. I mean, they're called the sneaky tumors for a reason, right? Okay, technically, they got that name because they're slow-growing tumors, which is true, but also because they're often tiny, like less than 2 centimeters across. To put that into perspective, that's about the size of half an inch. Now, that doesn't sound like much, does it? But here's the kicker. Even though they're small, they can still spread to other parts of the body, especially the liver and lymph nodes. And yes, this means that a small tumor isn't necessarily a harmless one. So why are they called the sneaky tumors? Well, it's because people often find these tumors by accident. Like when someone has surgery for something else entirely, and the doctor finds a small tumor while exploring the area. Or maybe a person gets a CT scan for a different reason, and voila, there's a tiny growth that wasn't there before. In fact, many people live for years without knowing they have a carcinoid tumor, until it's found during an autopsy after death. Scary, right? Now you might be wondering, are there any clues that these tumors are hanging around? Yes and no. Here's what I mean. Many people with carcinoid tumors don't experience any symptoms at all, especially in the early stages. Others may notice some signs and symptoms of carcinoid syndrome, like flushing or changes in bowel habits. But here's the thing, these symptoms aren't specific to carcinoid tumors. They could be caused by a bunch of other things. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. But don't worry, we'll talk about those symptoms later, because knowing them can be super helpful. Okay, now let's try to answer another important question. Who gets carcinoid tumors? Well, here's what we know. People over 50 are slightly more likely to develop them. Also, if there's a family history of multiple endocrine neoplasia, type 1 MEN1, a genetic condition that causes tumors in different endocrine glands, that can increase the risk as well. But here's where things get interesting. Researchers are looking into whether chronic inflammation in the gut, like what happens in inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, might play a role in carcinoid tumor development. Plus, some studies suggest a link between gut disorders like irritable bowel syndrome and an increased risk of carcinoid tumors, so it's not just about age and genetics anymore. Our lifestyle and gut health might have a say in this too. Scientists are still digging for answers. Speaking of digging for answers, all right, let's talk about symptoms. While many people with carcinoid tumors don't have any noticeable symptoms, especially in the early stages, some do experience signs of carcinoid syndrome. These include flushing of the face or neck, feeling suddenly hot, followed by redness in the affected area. This might not happen all the time and can come and go. Next up, we've got diarrhea. Not the kind you get after eating spicy food, but a sudden, unexplained change in bowel movements. You might find yourself running to the bathroom more often with watery stools. Then there's shortness of breath or wheezing. This is due to the effects of excess serotonin on the lungs, making it harder to breathe. It's like having asthma, but it won't go away on its own. Next, we've got palpitations. That's a fancy doctor word for a rapid heartbeat. You might feel like your heart is racing or skipping beats. Finally, abdominal pain or unexpected weight loss. Carcinoid tumors can cause discomfort in the belly area. Plus, if the tumor is messing with your gut, you might not be able to absorb nutrients properly, leading to weight loss. But wait, there's more. Some people may also experience the following symptoms: mood changes, anxiety, depression, vision problems, joint pain, and swelling, especially in the legs. So remember, these symptoms aren't unique to carcinoid tumors. They could be signs of other conditions too. But if you notice anything unusual going on, don't hesitate to talk to your doctor. All right, so you've learned about carcinoid tumors, how they work, and what symptoms to look out for. Now, let's talk about diagnosis. How do doctors figure out if you've got one of these sneaky tumors? Well, it starts with a good old checkup, a physical exam, and a chat about your symptoms. After that, your doctor might order some blood tests. They check levels of chromogranin A and serotonin to see if your body is pumping out too much of these hormones. And don't forget the urine test. Doctors will check it for 5-HIAA, a breakdown product of serotonin. If there's a buildup of this compound in the urine, it could indicate serotonin syndrome. But we're not done yet. Imaging techniques like CT, MRI, or PET scans come next. PET scans are particularly helpful because they use special tracers that bind to certain receptors on the tumor cells, so they can light up and make the tumor stand out. And don't worry, endoscopy and biopsy are also part of the process. During endoscopy, a thin, flexible tube with a camera at one end is inserted through the digestive tract to get a closer look at the lining. If something suspicious is found, a biopsy can be done to remove a small sample of tissue for examination under a microscope. So once a carcinoid tumor is diagnosed, what's next? Well, treatment depends on the tumor's size and location, as well as whether it has spread to other parts of the body. For localized tumors, surgery is usually the first choice. But here's the cool part. There are also medications available to help control the symptoms of carcinoid syndrome and reduce the release of hormones from the tumors. These are called somatostatin analogs, and examples include octreotide and lanreotide. There are also targeted therapies and radionuclide therapy for certain types of carcinoid tumors. Chemotherapy is sometimes used, but it tends to be less effective than other treatments. We've covered a lot today, so let's do a quick recap. Carcinoid tumors are sneaky, slow-growing tumors that can cause all sorts of problems by releasing too many hormones. They often go unnoticed until they start causing symptoms like flushing, diarrhea, and shortness of breath. But the good news is that if caught early, they're usually treatable with surgery or medication. And remember, you don't have to face this alone. There are support groups and resources out there to help you every step of the way. And there you have it, folks. We hope you learned something new and important today. Remember, knowledge is the first step towards taking control of your health, so share this video with your friends and stay curious. Until next time, stay healthy, stay informed, and never stop asking questions. Your body is worth it.